Ladies and gentlemen, the day is finally here, or the day before is finally here. I took a trip to Australia to pick up Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom a little bit early since it is live in that region, and fortunately the Switch is region free. So I wanted to go through kind of the opening part of the game, give some of my initial thoughts as I've done with games in the past, but we know this is a big time release for Nintendo, a generational release, you can even say, for the Switch. So I'm very excited to jump into this one, especially after seeing some of the reviews placing this as one of the highest rated games ever, really right next to Breath of the Wild. So if you guys enjoy the video, make sure you like it. If you're excited for Zelda, like the video, subscribe if you're new, because I'm sure there's going to be plenty of Zelda news coming up here over the next week or so. And let's see what we have here. So I had mentioned that I've seen some of the leaks that were out there at one point just to verify that people were actually streaming this game. So I am aware of how it opens, and also we've had websites like Kotaku cover many of the leaks now, and part of it was the opening. But obviously it's something you see immediately here. And it seemed like there was more story that's put right in front of you. And you'll notice that we have all of our hearts, so they are definitely trying to play into the idea of this takes place directly after Breath of the Wild, which we already know, but giving you the fully decked out Link, again, all hearts, the full stamina wheel all the way around, and the Master Sword. This is throwing me off a little bit. Am I wrong with I played Breath of the Wild leading up to this, but I think the last time I played it was a week ago because we've had so many other releases hitting. I feel like they flipped jump. They did. Okay, so jump and like dash or run. So in this case, it's B for run, and then it's X for jump. I feel like they flipped that. Hold on. Let me go to options. Look right here, swap jump controls. So I'm gonna switch that back. We are getting kind of the guided tour treatment right now, and this is building up obviously to what we saw in the trailer, where things don't go well for Link and Zelda, but I guess just kind of building up the suspense as they continue to go further and further into the cavern. I mean, just like 5 minutes in so far, and I feel like I've seen more story here that's just like thrust right in front of you compared to Breath of the Wild, where you had to really seek a lot of this stuff out. So I do wonder if this is going to be a much more narrative driven experience for Tears of the Kingdom. Here we go. The game itself so far does feel like it's taking more of a darker tone, and it was something that was kind of really implied from the first time we saw it, where we had the kind of the corpse snap looking at them and kind of have its eyes glow. Yeah, that seems way more intimidating than what we had in Breath of... Wow, yeah, okay, so Link getting his arm all messed up and lose all of your hearts kind of has that Metroid sort of feel to it. The Master Sword, broken completely. A little damage there on the cheek. Oh, and they're talking smack on the Master Sword. That's one way to make you feel really helpless against this kind of enemy. Just have the Master Sword explode into pieces. Called a fragile sword. Oh, I like the piano in the background there as I see Zelda just fall into the abyss. You know what? That's a pretty good opening. About 10 minutes in, and it just looks like everything is over. There's no hope. Master Sword destroyed. Okay, here we go. We're playing. It's very reminiscent of Breath of the Wild, where you started in a shrine, and it was very clear that they were kind of leading you outside to where things would open up. Pretty clear we're doing that here too. They have a button here where you just press A to jump, so you kind of dive off these set points. Reminds me a little bit of like Assassin's Creed, and we were doing that obviously a long time ago, but they keep having you do that, I guess, just to kind of get in your mind that we doing this a lot. Oh, that's kind of cool. So I've been diving a few times now from higher and higher up. That point, I dove from so high up in the air that when I hit the water, more water kind of went up in droplets and sort of just rained back down. It's little details like that that just work to kind of separate this from other open world titles, sort of that interactive nature to it. Here he goes. Is this the Breath of the Wild moment where you go outside and... Oh, so we'll jump off here. Yeah, so this is like I guess the Breath of the Wild moment. Maybe they'll pop the title card. Yeah, so they have like the music fading up in the background. And this is, we know we're starting with us. Oh, there's a dragon out there. We know we're starting on a sky island, and I assume they're just going to give us the basics with the mechanics and that sort of thing. And then we jump off again and I guess go to the ground level. This is nice. It's a nice intro. The panning camera around. We just need the title card and we'll be good. Let's see. The draw distances. Actually pretty impressive. All right, so there's the title card. I like it. There have been some very memorable title cards I've had, especially recently. I think Ghost of Tsushima might have been one of my favorite title cards. This one's pretty good too. Hold RX. Okay, there we go. See, we should have a lot of like the water droplets coming down. Wow, Link is really dripping a lot of water. I don't know. That seems like a lot to take with you when you get out of the pool. Visually speaking, it's not bad. I'm pretty close here on the monitor, on my monitor here. If you're further back and you have a larger TV, it probably won't be as noticeable for some of the aliasing, for example, that you see around the trees, especially on the shadows where they don't look as sharp. But I think it's very, very colorful here just on this skyline. A lot of yellow. But for like initial impressions, considering that we're playing on the Switch, it's actually not bad. So we do still have weapon degradation as you're seeing this happen right now. And I'm still not a huge fan of using, for example, this tree branch 3 or 4 times, then it just explode on you. But I do understand we also will have the ability to fuse items, which should make it so the durability is better overall. Oh, look, we have clouds going through here. I think Gene mentioned that when we were on the podcast, that he would just be playing, like doing a puzzle, and clouds would just kind of pass through the Sky Island because you're obviously up very, very high, and he didn't even necessarily realize that because you see trees growing and stuff, and then, oh, wait, a cloud going through. Look, there's a cloud just going through the entire thing. So that's a really cool effect. You could be fighting an enemy and then clouds come through and you can't see 2 feet in front of you. Or maybe it'd be like a storm cloud coming through and have lightning hitting everywhere. So I can kind of get it to stutter a bit when I was just kind of panning around here. And it's, again, the draw distance really plays into it. Okay, interesting. So this Sky Island has sort of this like forest area right here. Right, so you have like almost a warmer area. Then over there, it's all snow with like the waterfalls and everything. So you have almost like different regions on these Sky Islands. So we do still have shrines in the game. The character just told me, hey, go get some of these different shrines so you can learn your abilities. But Nintendo did also mention that there are closer to traditional setups as well when it comes to dungeons in the game, so I am excited to eventually get to those. I assume they're going to be the big set piece events similar to what we had with the Divine Beast, but I think I still have a ways to go to get to that point. All right, so we're starting right away with Ultrahand, so we can do all kinds of manipulation with different objects, stick them together, and I figure we're about to see how that works here in this shrine. The thing I was curious about with Ultrahand would be the controls, as that was something that was kind of mentioned. Let's see, L activates it. Sort of spin around here. Rotate is hold R. Oh, and you have like the little... Oh, you got to use the D-pad. Interesting. Okay. So, yeah, you definitely would have to completely flip it around like this. You have to be careful because it looks like we have it kind of diagonally. You can see how that... That could get out of control, so there definitely going to be some getting used to for this. Let's drop this down here. How do I then... Okay, so right stick then kind of controls the height of it with the left stick moving the length. Okay. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to, but they do have to account for it in kind of 3D space, and that seems like a lot of work there. Let's see. We have 2 now. Okay, so we'll try to stick these together. That's not so bad. Oh, it has like this glue effect, kind of, to show you where it's going to go. All right, just like that. Sticks right together. Grab one of them. Make this nice long bridge. Oh, wait, that's going to be... Let's see. There we go. Oh, it has a... I don't want to do that, but it has unstick down there. You have to move the right stick around over and over again. That's kind of strange. They don't... I guess they couldn't come up with a dedicated button just to stick them. That seems like, so you have to kind of do that to that seems kind of weird. Okay, see, I have a feeling they're going to have some wild puzzles. If this is like the beginner level stuff where you're making a little platform that can kind of slide along here, I could see them doing all kinds of crazy obstacle course when you get all the powers. Well, it looks like we still have the orbs. So in Breath of the Wild, we had like those purple orbs you'd collect and then go take to a statue, and you had 4 of them. Raise your hearts or raise your stamina. It does take a bit to sort of put these things together, especially with rotation, and like it's not something I think I'm really going to be using in combat or any of that, but if you have these sort of world puzzles to figure out, we've already seen them show off the function of building a boat and using little propellers and all of that, which is fine, but if you're fighting against people around you, I don't think everyone's going to stop and just allow you to Ultrahand together like a catapult or something. Okay, I have my really long bridge here. Let's see if it's big enough to actually get across. Oh, it's rolling. It's rolling. Nope, I think we're good. Now I need to, like, slowly balance on this thing. I guess I could have done 2 logs, like, together all the way down. I don't know if I would have had enough wood to do that. There we go. We're across. So I spent some time here making this this crude boat, but it came together pretty well. The issue I was having at times is that when you would go to stick one log to the other, sometimes it would end up underneath of it, and because it takes into account like the physics and the buoyancy really of the log, it would actually start to turn over and you wouldn't get a perfectly flat kind of boat then. So I ended up doing a bunch of these tree trunks together. In fact, I even brought that entire bridge with me, broke it up into pieces so I could build this sizable boat, I guess. But the building process is taking some getting used to. However, it's at least starting to click into place for me. Okay, shrine number 2. Looks like we're using fuse, which is something I'm curious about when it comes to fusing, especially in the middle of battle, how intuitive the menu system is and dropping something on an arrow or on a shield, and if that's something you can kind of get used to as like second nature when you are in the middle of a battle, if it at least comes together quickly. So let's say I have fuse on, which you do have to switch between them. So there's like Ultrahand, a bunch of other like tabs all over the place, and it looks like amiibo there. But let's see, pick fuse. There's boulder. I want to put on the thick stick. And now I have a stick with a boulder on it, which, there you go. Lets you smash right through all the rocks. So this is something I generally appreciate with just Zelda games overall, not even like necessarily just Breath of the Wild or in this case Tears of the Kingdom. What they do is they'll set something up that feels pretty obvious and let you figure it out. So they just gave me a bunch of like these fire plants, and we can see up there's a treasure chest with it's like just dried out brush kind of around it, holding it up. And it's pretty obvious they want you to take that, fuse it with, let's see, we have these fire fruits. So we'll let go of that. And we have like a fire arrow, which we just fire. There we go. So we got the treasure chest. And they've done that for a while without having to sit you down and talk to you about what you got to do. And then like, oh, here's an example. Do this, do this, do this. They sort of let you figure it out through obvious tells in the environment. Looks like we have a construct you gotta fight, and oh, it can fuse stuff too. That's interesting. Okay, so I also see a lot of brush on the ground. I'm gonna go ahead and just see if I can light it all on fire when it runs over it and can lure it out here. There we go. Oh, it catches on fire too. That's cool. The combat still feels very similar. The combat in Breath of the Wild wasn't necessarily bad. It wasn't really groundbreaking either, though, but it never really got in the way or anything like that. I'm more curious about the different weapon combinations and effects that can go alongside of that combat. So I learned a very important lesson. You want to make sure you have one of these on each side, because if you don't, you'll just start spinning in a circle. But otherwise, it's getting easier to put this stuff together now that I've gotten used to mostly rotating it and then placing it so it is level with for example the log and not off to one side. That's the part I think that's going to take some getting used to, but from what I've seen so far, now that I've placed these logs together a couple times and even dropped the propeller part on the fan, it seems like it's getting a bit more familiar. So it looks like you can also store these different devices in these capsules. In this case, they gave me a bunch of these fans. So you could have this entire inventory just completely decked out with all these different capsules. And I guess, yeah, just drop them right into play and go crazy building stuff. So even if there's nothing necessarily in the direct like vicinity when you're going to build stuff, you could technically show up with a bunch of these capsules and really start putting stuff together wherever you want. That was kind of my concern, I guess, at one point was, will they try to have things, I don't want to say curated, but kind of blocked off a bit by giving you certain items in certain places and making it hard to get there with some of this stuff? No, it appears they're going to have quite a bit of freedom, and that's the one thing that's, I guess, really impressive about this is we've seen a lot of games come out just busted, bugs, all kinds of stuff. The things they're trying to get you to do in this game, it should be incredibly difficult to make this even remotely bug-free, but again, that's something that's been brought up is like the level of quality is impressive just overall when it comes to any kind of bugs or glitches or having issues. So it seems like a serious accomplishment for the Nintendo and their Zelda team. Oh, it does look like the Koroks are back in this game. And people, I'm sure, are wondering if we'd have to go around and find all of these different seeds. It does appear you're still getting seeds in the game, but they kind of have it set up, at least so far, because there was one earlier where it's basically a quest line where you have to try to get them there or bring their friend to them. So I'm just kind of ultra-handing this guy up here, and let's bring him with us. At least I got 2 seeds this time, so if there's 800 something of them, I just got to do this like 400 times. They have like this track. One part's busted off completely, so you're not going to be able to just go over it with this. So I put the hook on here of the propeller. And oh, look at that, it worked. They're just kind of combining different things for you to try. Again, this is all, the thing that's really funny about this is I'm still in the tutorial area, and it doesn't necessarily feel like it because all the stuff I'm seeing right now is just very interesting, and it doesn't feel like they're necessarily hand-holding you the whole way, just introducing these little bits of things to fuse together and build and attempt to overcome. So I am genuinely curious when you actually get off of the Sky Island, what kind of things you can make. Okay, third shrine, we're playing around with Ascend, and this is the ability that I feel like was shown, and people kind of, I guess, passed it off a bit because Ultrahand and Fuse look like really interesting. I still think Ascend can do a lot, especially in this world that they've built out, especially to hide things, but also to kind of shortcut through things since, let's face it, at times in Breath of the Wild, having to climb for a while with your stamina meter that maybe even was fully decked out, it would take some time. And having to climb in the rain was just the worst, considering if you got caught in it, you would just kind of sit there and wait for the rain to go away, which again would take a while. So the idea of having, let's see, Ascend, press A. Yeah. Again, this one I do see as more of a quality of life improvement, but there probably could be some pretty cool puzzles and again just kind of hidden paths that they set up for it. Also, I noticed you have to press A to exit, so I guess if you press B, you'll drop back down. So I almost wonder if there will be spots where you can, I don't say try to stealth around, but just kind of peek out like we have the enemy there, see what's going on, and then drop back down if it looks really bad. There we go. We got some cold resistance clothes. All right, good. My cold resistance stuff just ran out. And okay, good. That's enough to make it so I don't like, completely bleed out or just die when I'm running around in the snow. So I have to go to the Temple of Time over there, and I noticed they have things kind of set up with the bird from, or the large structure that Link was gliding around on from the trailer. And this seems crazy to be doing without any kind of look at the weight transfer, so you can kind of push down and have the, see, I don't even have the paraglider yet. This seems like a terrible idea without any kind of paraglider, but this, all right, so this is pretty cool to be able to kind of manipulate the bird or like the glider depending on where you're standing on it, and Actually, this went way better than it should have. Now I got the recall ability, and it is more story and cutscenes kind of going into this. I'm going to try to figure out how much of that I actually want to leave in, because while I am playing through the beginning of the game, there is still story stuff that people may want to experience firsthand on their own. So I just got recall, and that will let me basically rewind time for an object. There are a goddess statue, but I only have three shrines done. I need to do another one. Oh, this is definitely reminiscent of the pulling the Master Sword out, but I do not have enough hearts. See, we need to get the last, you need 4 shrines. So go figure, there is a 4th shrine as expected. Basically, any of us who played Breath of the Wild would have known this. I guess they didn't. So we just need to fast travel down here. There's the last shrine. See, I almost forgot that I could ascend through this. I was trying to think of, looking at the map, okay, how am I going to get up here so that I can use recall on this and then flip it around. So it is going to take some getting used to when I'm looking at some of these different setups to remember that I have ascend. Anyway, now I'm into the final shrine. It looks like it's one that's just kind of built around how to use recall, which does include rewinding back up this waterfall. Okay, 4th shrine done. And we're going to fly back. I think we're flying back. Whoa, okay. This is higher up than I thought it was. You know, I could probably jump off of this and try to land in that water. That seems like a bad idea, too. I think that's good. Here we go. Oh, okay. Maybe not. You can sort of control yourself in the air. Like, I'm able to kind of aim forward a bit here, because I was right over land immediately, so Link still seems to be able to kind of control himself pretty well in the air. Yeah, so typical stuff like what we saw with Breath of the Wild. You have 4 of those orbs, and then you hand it to the statue here, and they increase your hearts, or they should increase your stamina as well. They just give you the option for hearts because in this case, you have to be able to push that door, which I assume is going to take 3 3/4 hearts or something to make it happen, which we can find out real quick. Let's see. Here we go. And push and hold. 1 heart, 2, 3, and 1/4. Yep, all right. But either way, 4 shrines down, got the heart, push through the door at the Temple of Time. So once again, some more story stuff there that I'm gonna skip past. But this pretty much concludes the tutorial area, which was this big sky island. Even the sky island itself that we just did feels pretty large, right? But the idea now is you do what I would call, I guess, the real Breath of the Wild moment, and that's essentially now jump down into Hyrule, which what's wild is kind of looking around here, the draw distance. Yeah, okay. So, wow, there's a lot going on here. I mean, you see all the different sky islands that are around that you can go to. Also, there's a lot of he just jumped off, thinking he's going to hit that little pond there, I guess. All right, there's a large one here. Wow, the game itself just feels... I know the term was like too big for Switch. This just feels too big in general for a video game. Just the amount of stuff going on here with all the physics-based gameplay that's happening right now with the world's interaction, and there's a lot. It does feel overwhelming right now with the amount of stuff that they have going on and the amount of areas and the fact that there's the Sky Islands, this main land for Hyrule, and then an underground for that. It's going to take a bit to get through this one, but I am excited to experience more of this game. The fact that I had a lot of fun just there learning the tutorial portion of the game with all of the different parts. Yeah, it's still Hyrule from Breath of the Wild. It's been confirmed that it's still the same structure for the map, but apparently they've changed so much of it that if you go to the same location, it's not going to feel the same at all. But you pair that with a more dense overall world along with the other levels that you have to go to and explore, it does feel like that there is a lot of game to explore. So I am really excited to find out more about the game, go through it, and especially experience some of those larger dungeons and areas. But let me know what you guys think about this game down below. I'm going to try to cut this up so it is a bit more manageable, but this portion of the game took me just right around 2 hours to complete. But let me know what you guys think about Tears of the Kingdom so far, if you had a chance to play it, or what you think about it through some of the reviews and previews. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.